For those that don't know, that you were born hearing impaired, born deaf, and can you walk me through the process of how you're able to communicate in the car and what a struggle that was, kind of growing up, and just whatever you want to unpack there. I know there's a lot, but can you walk us through that?
Yeah, so I mean, just kind of another layer, another kind of roadblock that we had. So I was born with a condition called bilateral microtia atresia, and obviously my dad has been there since I was born, so he kind of lived through that whole, um, you know, right away when I was born, the doctors knew something was wrong, and obviously my parents are just shocked and kind of overflown with emotions at the time, and my dad's told me he's like he didn't really know how to react in the moment because he's thinking about all these things. Am I going to be able to live a normal life or communicate with people? And thankfully, 3 months in or 3 months later, I was able to hear due to bone conduction technology, where it's basically where it basically a hearing aid vibrates against the side of your skull, and I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with shocks that a lot of runners use that sit on the side of their head, and it's the same thing. They use bone conduction technology, and so in the karting days, we never had a radio or a spotter, so we never really had to worry about that. But that was one of the things too, is as we got older, we realized, hey, how am I going to be able to hear in a race car? Having a radio is crucial. Like you can't go out on the track in a race car without being able to hear your team. And for a whole year, we reached out to many companies, and they either didn't have the resources or the time to help. And eventually, my dad was like, "Man, we got to take this into our own hands." And he has an engineering degree and kind of a background in that stuff. So he basically took parts from, bone conduction shocks and just all these different components and kind of made his own thing. And we kind of rigged it up inside the helmet and kind of made our first prototype, and we tried it one day on a track day, and all these wires were hanging out, and it kind of looks all funky. But my dad got it to work, and he got emotional, and I was pretty